So I don't understand how South Korea is still allowing Johnny Somali to stream even though he is facing years upon years in jail. You would think after having shown over and 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 over that he's not going to stop harassing people, that they just be like, alright, you're going to have to wait for your trial to start in jail. But no, South Korea is showing that while they might have some arbitrary laws that they like to uphold, it's going to take generations for them to convict you. And while you wait, you can live life like a normal Korean citizen as if you were actually someone who should be allowed in public unsupervised. Like, how does someone facing however many years he is be able to keep making himself look worse? Before I said this was kind of a good thing because this gives him more of a chance to get in trouble, only adding to his sentence, but now it has actually gone to a point to where innocent kids are being harassed by them because these idiots in South Korea don't put them in jail. Like, I get that they want everything to be done right, but how many cases like his could they possibly be working on? Like, Vitaly was arrested back on April 2nd in the Philippines, and he has yet to be released, and he's actually not going to be released until he served his jail time, and even then, when they release him, he's going to be deported back to Russia. And when you compare what he did to what Johnny did, he hasn't even done a fraction of what got him in trouble. Realistically, if we compared Vitaly to Johnny Somali, it would be like comparing a shoplifter to a fucking murderer. Only the shoplifter would get treated like the murderer and vice versa. Now, unfortunately for us, when Johnny is released, he will be deported back to America, seeing as he's from Arizona. Side note, I lived in Arizona from the years 2006 to 2012, so me and Johnny Somali might have crossed paths and didn't even know. But it seems like at least once a week now we are getting an update on Johnny Somali, and it's never Johnny is finally going to jail. It's always Johnny does this and Johnny does that. Well, guess what, South Korea? Now you have to charge him with child sexual harassment. Is that what you wanted? Now, before we get into this, I just want to say that this should be the last straw for what South Korea let slide. The fact that they were still letting him walk around as if nothing happened is actually insane when they're supposedly going to be making an example out of it. If this example isn't 20 years in jail, then you guys might have to be demoted to North Korea. I know geographically it wouldn't make any sense, but dog, North Korea has caught, tried, and put someone in a medically induced coma all before Johnny has paid any retribution for what he's done. But like I said earlier, Johnny has taken things too far this time and has now involved children in his harassment. So apparently while at this theme park in Korea called Lotte World, Johnny goes into an area that's for kids. It's not strictly for kids, but it's a section of the park that has rides for kids. Regardless, this is what happens no more than 5 minutes of him being in there.
For kids? What is this? Oh yeah, let's do this. There's a bunch of little kids, bro. They're wondering where my parents are at. I am the size of most of these fucking kids. I'm going to jail. Hi. Oh, sorry, ringtone. He was calling me on the phone. Down. Okay. 감사합니다. Fuck, bro. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, they have a security. They think I'm getting kicked out? My God, They're calling security. They're calling security guys. I gotta turn down. They have security guys.
Now, as you can see, as the TTS is playing, and no, I don't know what it says. The original clip even hasn't muted, which, considering this was posted on Twitter, where virtually anything could be posted, what he said was extremely inappropriate, especially being around children. Now, I did actually find this other video where it shows what he says, and just imagine him saying, I want to have sex with a grown adult, only switch grown adult for the kind of people he just announced he was going to be around. But as you can see, he says, oh my God, I don't know what they're saying, but then right after that says, I'm going to jail, meaning that he had an idea of what was being said, and even if he didn't, the looks he was probably getting told him everything he needs to know. And it happened twice, and he would have let it play a third, fourth, and even fifth time had the employees not come over and tell him to stop. And it's dumb because this is exactly what he wants. He likes when security has to get called on him. He likes when he makes a scene, which is only more of a reason that South Korea shouldn't be letting this dude roam free like he's a fucking zoo animal. Like, is this what they do over there to people who break the law? You can just live life like however you want to, make money off TTS while the judges sitting their fucking thumbs wondering what to do? I think I'm gonna bounce up on my thumb a little bit more instead of doing my job. Like, out of all the stuff he's done, this one actually seems like it can be the biggest thing he could be charged for. If we go to the video that Andrew of Legal Mindset uploaded, he says that under the Child Welfare Act, which is supposed to guarantee the welfare of children so that they can be born healthy and brought up happily and safely, he violated Article 17.
Now, what's prohibited is to engage in a lewd act or committing sexual harassment or sexual abuse against a child that will make him feel sexually ashamed. Playing text-to-speech, talking about having sex, and I can't even say it's having sex with underage people around children, and talking about sexual acts around children would absolutely and 100% make them feel sexually ashamed. So this would clearly be something he is guilty of.
Now, of course, because he is a legal guy, he is seeing this as this can only get worse for Johnny, when really it's getting worse for both Johnny and the people of South Korea. Like, how many innocent people need to be a victim of Johnny Somali before they actually do something? Like, I don't think I've ever seen a country take this long to do the obvious, and it actually pisses me off. We've literally changed presidents in the time that it takes them to do something. But there is some good news that comes out of this. It is the penalty he gets for what he did. It says a person who violates Article 17 shall be punished by imprisonment with labor for not more than 10 years or by a fine not exceeding 50 million won, which is just over $34,000.
What is the penalty? Imprisonment with labor. So let's give a summary of what we have here in the Eastern District. We've got deepfakes with at least 2 victims, possibly more. That one's been merged into the ongoing Seoul Western Court on March 27th. We have obstruction of business in Lotte World. That was probably merged on March 4th. There's a chance it hasn't been merged yet, but we're the best guess, and we'll find out at the next hearing that we have, whenever that is. We will find out exactly, but that one has likely been merged in. And that's obstruction of business for messing things up at Lotte World, and then child sexual harassment at Lotte World.
Now, in my previous video on him, I showed you that he said that he would be fine if they just gave him a fine and let him leave.
And if they let me just pay the money for that and go home, I definitely learned my lesson.
Well, what happens when he can't pay that fine? Do they just default to prison time? I'm sure the fine means nothing if he's already going to face mandatory jail time. Like, at what point do they just say he's piled on enough charges and has harassed more people than have ever been harassed in their country's entire existence and just put him away? Like, you want to hear something incredibly stupid? The court granted Johnny's public defender's motion to delay the April 9th plea hearing and move the next trial date to May 16th. They're giving him another month to do whatever he wants, only for them to come back another month later and just reschedule it for another month and then another month and then another month. Like it says in the replies, how many crimes will he commit in the meantime? This isn't something that should be asked when talking about Johnny Somali. Like, the police weren't even involved in this. He didn't get arrested. He hasn't even been officially charged for this. This is literally us finding out this shit on our own before the courts even tell us anything. That's how slow they are. We literally have time to look through entire acts that were made and tell you what is going to happen before you make it happen. 100% if he hasn't stopped after pleading guilty to some of the charges, he's not going to stop after this one gets added. Hopefully, South Korea sees what the Philippines did with Vitaly and speeds up this process. And if not, then I guess I'll see you back next week with another Johnny Somali update. Until then though, peace!